He came back to Idemili with nothing. No money, no pride, just a suitcase full of regrets and a heart full of storms. But the river had other plans for him. Because sometimes life doesn't need you to paddle harder, it just needs you to stop fighting the current. Hello, dear family. Welcome to Echoes and Tales. Kindly hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It truly means the world to us. Don't forget to share this video with your loved ones. Now sit back, relax, and let's drift into the story. The river knows its course. The rains came early that year. In Idemili, a small village nestled along the muddy bends of the River Njaba, thunder cracked the sky like a whip, and the clouds spilled their burdens without mercy. On the far edge of the village, near the yam mounds of Chief Nwankwo, a young man named Kelechi sat inside a thatched hut with his mother, wrapping his thoughts around the silence that stretched between them. Kelechi had always been the kind of boy who chased the horizon, eager, restless, with questions that tied the elders' tongues into knots. Now 26, he had returned from Lagos after 5 years of struggling to make something of himself. He came back with nothing but a torn suitcase, a cracked Samsung phone, and a secret guilt too heavy to name. "Mama, I'll fix things," he whispered as his mother served him a plate of yam pottage, her eyes more tired than the hands that stirred the pot. She gave a weary smile. "The river knows its course, my son. You don't need to carry its current." But Kelechi wasn't convinced. The farm had dwindled in his absence. Debts had wrapped around their compound like vines. His younger sister Ada was pregnant with no husband in sight. Their late father's legacy, his carved stool, his cocoa lands, his good name, all felt like ghosts now. He chewed the yam in silence, tasting failure. Every morning, Kelechi woke before dawn and walked along the ridges of the abandoned farm. The rains had been kind to the soil, but cruel to the heart. He bent to uproot weeds with his bare hands, the blisters a small price for redemption. The villagers watched him. Some pitied him, others whispered behind raffia palms. "That one, didn't he go to university?" "Yes-o, came back with Lagos dust and nothing else." But the worst judgment came not from them, but from within. He couldn't sleep. His mind rehearsed alternate versions of his life. If only he hadn't trusted his roommate with the tuition money. If only he hadn't followed that crypto scam. If only he had stayed home when Papa died. He lived in the if-onlys, as though worry could unwind time. One day, he met Nady the fisherman by the riverbank. Nady was a wiry man with teeth stained from chewing coconut and a voice like dry cassava leaves. "You look like someone fighting the tide, my boy," Nady said, casting his net into the murky river. Kelechi sighed. "I have to fix everything. I caused this." Nady chuckled, pulling out a small catfish. "No one holds water with their fingers. The river flows as it pleases. Cast your net and let it be." Those words lingered. One afternoon, as the rain pounded with fury, their roof caved in. The bedroom soaked in minutes. Mama screamed. Ada slipped trying to rescue her sewing machine. Kelechi, shirtless and trembling, tried to hold a basin over a leak that didn't stop leaking. That night, they slept sitting up. A candle flickered in the corner. The house smelled of wet earth and desperation. "I should have come back sooner," Kelechi said for the 100th time. His mother finally snapped. "And what would that change, eh? Would you have held your father's heart in place? Would you have stopped Ada from loving a foolish boy?" He shrank. She softened, her voice cracking. "You are here now. That's what matters. Worry will not fetch us firewood." In the silence that followed, Ada spoke. "There's a job at the new school. A teaching assistant. They need someone who can speak good English." Kelechi looked up. "I heard them mention it in church," she added, avoiding his eyes. The next morning, he wore his only good shirt, the one he'd kept from university, and walked through the mud to the school. The headmistress, Mrs. Okari, was a stout woman with a sharp chin and an even sharper voice. She looked him up and down. "Why do you want this job?" "I need to contribute," he said. "I need to stop being a burden." She frowned. "Wrong answer. Try again." He hesitated. "Because I want to teach. I want to do something that matters." That answer, it seemed, was enough. She handed him a stack of old textbooks. "Start tomorrow." That night, Kelechi couldn't sleep. But this time, it wasn't from worry. It was from nervous excitement. He He was about to do something he'd never imagined. The school was small, the desks uneven, the children noisy and bright-eyed. But for the first time in years, he felt seen. He told them stories about galaxies and grammar, about rivers and resistance. They listened, they laughed, and slowly, he started to breathe again. Weeks passed. The rains lessened. The leaks were patched with zinc and stubborn hope. Ada's belly grew round and firm. She hummed when she sewed now. Mama's laughter returned in short bursts, especially when Kelechi recited the children's jokes at dinner. One afternoon, Nady came to visit. He brought roasted fish wrapped in banana leaves. "I hear you're a teacher now," he teased. "Some days, I think I'm the one being taught," Kelechi replied. They sat outside watching the dusk settle. "You know," Nady said, "sometimes we think we must control everything because we care too much. But worry is just fear pretending to be useful." Kelechi nodded slowly. "I'm learning. I can't undo the past, but I can plant something now, even if it takes time to grow." "And you will," Nady said, smiling. "Just don't dig up the seeds because you're anxious. Let the rain do its part." That evening, Kelechi wrote in a notebook something he hadn't done since university. He titled the page, "Let the River Carry What It Must." He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for the first time, he wasn't afraid of not knowing. Years passed, and life found its rhythm again. Kelechi became the teacher everyone loved, the man who could turn even failure into a story worth listening to. His home became a place of peace and laughter. Children came by after class to sit under the mango tree and hear him tell tales of rivers, of courage, of forgiveness. He never returned to Lagos. He never became rich. But in Idemili, his name carried a quiet respect. And whenever the rains returned and thunder rolled across the sky, Kelechi would walk to the riverbank, close his eyes, and whisper, "The river still knows its course." Because by then, he understood, peace is not found in controlling the water. It's found in trusting its flow. Moral of the story: let go of what you can't control. Worrying won't change the outcome. Surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. That brings us to the end of the story. What lesson did you take from it? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll know whenever we release a new story. And please, share this with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you so much.